asking me, Paul, did you get your stuff early?
I miss doing these videos.
Now, as in every video here at Locust&WildHoney, I'm gonna say peace and be blessed.
That's great. Man, it's been a while since the last fog drop, and honestly, I miss making these types of videos, just getting all the excitement and the hype up and talking about all the newest fog stuff. I miss these type of videos. Whoa, wait a second. I've heard of this guy. Are you my Jerry godmother? Wait, does that mean I get to make a wish now? Because that's what I hear, I get to make a wish when you show up. All right, Jerry godmother, let's start with this. My wish is that you would make another line and we could do another video just like the one I just watched. This time around, it would include denim and some new pieces that we have not seen before. Yeah, that's good. Wait, before you go, can it not include essentials? What's up, fam, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel once again from us over here at Locust&WildHoney. Now, before we go any further, I did want to let you guys know that I am no longer in affiliation with anything as it pertains to Fog or Pacsun or Jerry Lorenzo, so I just wanted to get that out of the way to make sure there's no confusion whatsoever as it pertains to the contents of today's video. Everything that we talk about today is strictly and primarily based on my opinions, speculations, and some estimated approximations, if you will. All of these questions and talking points are going to be based off of your guys' ideas in the Facebook group. If you have yet to join it, make sure you hit the link in the description because there's a lot more candid, trolling, and just a lot of informative information that's coming from you guys, and it's just really sick what we've been able to do in the Facebook group, so make sure you check it out. The link will be in the description and join the conversation. So here's a picture of what I'm looking at here on my phone. We're just gonna work through this list. It's essentially a screenshot picked from the Facebook group, and I guess we kind of work through it in this order. I might not get through all of them per se. Nicholas Beatty says, I think Essentials branding kind of lends the pieces a utilitarian military surplus type of vibe. I'm into it. Nicholas, I definitely agree with you. I kind of feel that same type of vibe as well. I see that Jerry Lorenzo is definitely going to be going for capitalizing on the great branding that he's been able to do. While I do wish it said Fog or Fear of God or something to that nature, I feel like Essentials is definitely a nice touch, as it would be kind of boring to have just a plain hoodie again. Well, I definitely agree with Nicholas's points for sure. I think it's important to look at another aspect, and this is actually from the Fear of God moderator. This is also one of my good friends, Dominic. Here's what he has to say. In his opinion, he doesn't really vibe with as much the aspect of Jerry kind of putting out the kind of same aesthetic, the same idea as the previous drops, like the heavy French terry cotton. And I definitely agree with that as well. I feel like I would be more so inclined to purchasing for sure if he did more of the mesh stuff that he did in 5th. I feel like there wouldn't be a huge disparagement. I feel like as long as it was different in terms of designs from mainline, and maybe he did the mesh stuff and just threw Essentials on there, I feel like that would have been a good play for sure. So I definitely see your point as well, Dominic. So shout out to you, man. Thank you for your input. This guy is awesome. So make sure to check out the Fear of God Facebook group, as well as those guys are awesome in there too. Moving on, I feel like these next 3 points can be kind of lumped together because it essentially points to the ratio between quality and cost to the customer. And it's definitely a valid point to bring up. So shout out to Ankit, Brian Mata, and Elijah. I'm not gonna try to pronounce your last name because I don't wanna butcher it. But yeah, definitely worth bringing up because it's definitely a fine line to tread. You want to make the best quality denim because that's essentially what sells, while maintaining enough of a profit margin for the company that's making the denim. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Jerry's gonna have any issues whatsoever to find the right manufacturer to make high quality denim. I just don't think it's possible due to the fact that Jerry's been in the game a long time. He's very well plugged in and his network is probably so expansive. So I don't think he's gonna have an issue making high quality denim. But here is the main issue as it pertains to Jerry's enigma, if you will. He does have a mainline, and I'm sure he doesn't want to take any stock or degrade his mainline brand in any way, shape, or form. So this Essentials line is gonna be a huge test for him, because you don't want to make certain things the same as mainline, because it would essentially be battling amongst yourself. And you know, it says in the Bible even that a kingdom at odds amongst itself will not prosper. So, I mean, that was definitely paraphrased, but you guys get what I'm saying. And that's kind of what we see here. One thing that I'm really upset to see, and is total bummer, is the fact that in these two pictures to my left and to my right, it doesn't look like the denim that we've come to know and love from 4th and 5th collection. Because number one, the stacking. I am not crazy about it. Now, it might be the model, it might be the pictures, so don't quote me on this. Don't let my opinion sway you in any way, shape, or form, but this is strictly based on what I see here. There is no back calf seam. And why that's so important is the stacking. When you have a nice taper, you have that back seam to add to the nice stacking there. And I definitely think he left that out, because that's something that's signature to Fear of God. Next, the awesome distressing. I mean, to be honest with you, what made this denim on my body worth it is essentially what Jerry's main selling point was, is that you're gonna get denim that feels like somebody had worn these, they're a pair of Levi's, if you will, and they just did knee slides all day, and it's just worn and vintage, and it feels amazing. And I don't really see that type of distressing on these pants. I mean, in my opinion, based on these pictures, only based on these pictures, because I want to make a final verdict when I have these pants actually in hand, it looks like the distressing is subpar at best. Again, I don't want to dissuade you from liking the denim. It might be better in person, but just in my opinion, based off of these pictures, it just doesn't look like the Fear of God that we've come to know and love, which absolutely makes sense, because I'm sure the price point will be substantially lower. Those are really great points, you three, so thank you so much for sharing your opinions and giving us a talking point to discuss for this video. Shout out to you guys. Let's go ahead and move on to some more screenshots from the Facebook group. This next comment is from Tony Tran, and it says, "Collection doesn't look bad. Wish there were more pieces that aren't so plain." Well, you do make a valiant point, Tony, and I thank you so much for throwing your 2 cents out there. I feel like Fear of God's main aesthetic, its main idea, is to keep things pretty simple from 1st to 2nd to 3rd to 4th, and now on to 5th, all the way through the fog diffusion line. We've seen a pretty simple aesthetic, which isn't necessarily a bad or a good thing per se, but it's pretty much the bread and butter of what Jerry's been able to do. I personally love the easy wearability of Fear of God and Fog, and now Essentials, but that's based on my personal opinion. This last idea was inspired by Austin Powers. Fantastic name, by the way. But it essentially says just his attempt to combat minimal and anyone else making this type of style. Now, I definitely think this is a topic worth discussing, because truth be told, Jerry, as I've said earlier, is in a bit of an enigma, and here's the idea. Due to the fact that there might be a conflict of interest within the brands themselves, whether it's Fear of God or Essentials, Jerry's definitely walking a tightrope to not want to take any customers from either respective brand. What could Jerry actually do with this? Like, I think he's gonna be definitely challenged, and if there's anybody that can do it, it will be Jerry, because I mean, he's innovated a 90s look and made it fresh and new and contemporized. Now to your point, Austin. I don't know definitively if I can call this a combative move to brands like Minimal, simply due to the fact that what can be done that hasn't already been done? That, in tandem with the fact that there are limitations as to what Essentials could potentially be, simply due to the fact that there are gonna be for sure limitations, because Jerry doesn't want the high ticket Fear of God brand to be diminished in any way, shape, or form, which is why we see a pretty substantial drop as it pertains to details and most likely quality. Not to mention, brands like Minimal have greatly diversified their denim lineup. I feel like there's at least 40 pairs of different looks of denim: zippers, no zippers, distressings, washes. I mean, the list goes on and on. Not to mention the fact that they make sportswear and a bunch of different other stuff. Does that make sense? You know, I actually saw a comment on Essentials' Instagram account, and it pretty much said, this is a great idea, but it would have been way better had this been done 18 months ago. just before I let you guys go, I did want to give you guys an estimation. Now keep in mind, this is strictly and merely an estimation. This has nothing to do with anything I've been told or anything of that nature. So please don't hear it as such. As the days come closer, I can get more information from different people that I know. So make sure you're following me on Instagram because I always release all that information in my stories. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. Now that being said, I'm gonna base this off of trends based on previous lookbooks that we've seen in the past in relation to when we know the exact date and when the date actually is. So in my opinion, in my best guesstimation based on what we've seen before, I do believe we're gonna find out definitively when it drops on the 30th of this month. We're gonna have a date as to when we can know when it's gonna release, either by Hypebeast or Jerry himself. If I could guess, it's gonna release on a Friday, and I believe that Friday is gonna be on the 13th of April. This is just a guess. I will give you guys dates and stuff like that as I get more information. And yeah, just make sure you check out my stories and all that good stuff. Where's this stuff gonna release? I have no idea. I will keep you guys posted for sure. And again, guys, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. It's such a privilege to get to make YouTube videos for you guys. I know it's been a while since I've made content, and that's because I'm actually coming off of a cold, that of which is really rescinded, and I feel a lot better. So expect more content as the weeks come and the days come. And yeah, guys, as I end every video here at Locust&WildHoney, I'm gonna say peace and be blessed.